You're. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me see. Do I got to slide up, adjust this chair? McPherson brand. Tourist season. Tourist season is upon us. I appreciate y'all in the chat already. Tourist season. We'll get a couple more people in here. Once we get over like 500, we'll get right into it, man. McPherson brand, you see the logo with the horns. That horn is the horns and that logo. That's for the tourist season. Tourist season is upon us. I can feel it in the air. It's my little home spot, yo. I told y'all I've been working on it. I told y'all, it's in the works, and it is. I'm gonna start doing some live DJ stuff here. I'm gonna start doing some live streams, talking sports here. Everything that I do here. So let's get into it, man. I think we should start with Devin Williams first. Obviously, we know Shedeur Sanders is still on the board, and I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now at the NFL draft tracker. Big move of the day, Cam Skattebo to the New York Giants at 105. That kid is a dog. That kid is a monster. He's going to be a star in New York. If they do it right, he's going to be a star in New York. Also, Arian Smith out of Georgia. We'll get to the draft stuff in a minute. I'm waiting for Shedeur Sanders to be picked. I think what is happening with not the fact that he's falling, but like, I just think that like the conversation is starting to go to a place that it doesn't need to go to. So, no phone calls, no number here, not on the fan today. I was off last night and I went to the Yankee game, and that's obviously where we're going to to start conversation with Devin Williams. You like the white gear, the monitors match too? Honestly, bro, I used to work at Guitar Center. I need to go back to Guitar Center and buy some monitors. But let me show you the speaker that I have in here. And everybody can see me. Everybody can hear me all good, right? This is my first time like rocking with the at-home mic. And this is a different digital cam. Shout out to Elgato. Big love, Elgato gang. Got to make sure to say that. Elgato hooking up the Elgato hooked up some of the lighting. This is an Elgato mic. This is an Elgato face cam. And they're good people over there. But yo, this is the speaker I have in here. This is a big ass JBL speaker in here. When I do start to do my DJing, I need to get little monitors, but for now I just got these are my outside DJ speakers, and I just put them real quiet to practice. It's getting warm out, summer's coming, so I'm gonna start DJing again. I grew up as a DJ in the Jersey Shore area, literally aged like 15, 16 to 25, 26. That's what I did before anything, really. That's how I started making money. That's how I started making a name. That's how I got on the microphone as an MC. That's how I learned crowd control, having, stage presence, stuff like that, way before I was, doing this stuff. But yeah, let's get into it, yo. What's the DJ name? I did not come up with this name, and I don't care if y'all roast me for it. DJ Mac Diesel. I did not come up with that name. I will say that my boy Bafor, straight out of Ghana, we were in the gym working out for high school football. When I was 16, I started to, really hit the weights after a year, freshman football, going into varsity, trying to bulk up. And I've always been blessed with like a natural physique. And I think everyone used to call me K-Mac because of Tracy McGrady, T-Mac, K-Mac. And then Shaquille O'Neal started being called Shaq Diesel, and he started DJing. So they started calling me Mac Diesel. Long story short, short story long. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Devin Williams sucks right now. So let's not get it twisted. I'm going to start that off, and with that kind of energy. Devin Williams sucks right now. I'm gonna put that up so everybody can see it on Twitter, so everybody can see it on YouTube. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. He sucks right now. When I was at the game last night, shout out to my boy Gabe watching. I was everywhere. I was in the bleachers. I always am everywhere. I'm in the bleachers. I'm with the bleacher creatures, the terror squad. I'm with the gang. I'm with like the people that I've been watching games with, hundreds of games with for years. And Gabe had Gabe was my guest in my WFAN seats. And, I got, shout out to the good folks at WFAN. I had 2 tickets reserved weeks ago for hockey jersey night. I was so excited for the game. I was so excited to be out there. Friday night in the Boogie Down, I always tell y'all that's my favorite night to go to Yankee Stadium because the vibes are immaculate. People are done in New York working for the week. Some people are tourists coming in for the weekend. It was lit out there. And the Yankees fought back and scored a run to take the lead in the 8th. And so what do you do in the 9th inning? You hand the ball over to your closer. Now, this is where I have a little bit of issue, and I had a tweet that kind of went crazy last night. And before we do that, let's go to the box score and let me walk you through this. And if you're a Yankee fan in here, you saw this, so you understand. But Devin Williams comes into the game in the bottom of the 9th, or top of the 9th, excuse me, and he gives up a single to George Springer. And what I want to do is pull up the box score so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Working on that right now. Give me 10 seconds. Screenshot, media asset, add overlay, screenshot in 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So Devin Williams, he's lacking confidence, and all this stuff is compounded because he had a beard and he had to shave it, and they changed the beard policy, and he's the poster boy for the beard policy. He has been trashed to start his Yankee career. People are already ready to quit on him. MLB Network ranked him the #1 reliever in baseball. Emmanuel Clase has struggled early on. Edwin Diaz has struggled early on. But enough is enough, and Yankee fans do not care about the Mets or the Guardians. Yankee fans are looking at this game last night, and so George Springer from Connecticut, Yankee killer, you already know. I was surprised he didn't hit a homer. So first strike, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, almost up to the 94 velocity, 4-seam fastball. If he turned on that one, that could have been a homer. That's right in the zone. But then look at the next 3 pitches Devin Williams throws. Now keep this in mind for the next batter. He is throwing the ball damn near in the batter's box for a left-handed hitter. Ball, 4-seam fastball. Ball, 4-seam fastball. Okay, now I've thrown my fastball 3 times to set up my changeup. Let me try and land the changeup. The changeup is a ball outside. So then he has to go back to throwing the fastball in the zone, and he throws it what they call right down the dick. Pause. This is a high fastball right down the middle. Of course, George Springer is going to hit a line drive single on that. So keep that in mind as we go to the next one, right? Just, kind of a post-game recap. I know you guys lived it, but just follow me to where I'm getting at. I know Devin Williams has been given soft landing spots, right? Devin Williams had entered games in not safe situations. Devin Williams had entered games with a 4-run lead. Okay? So after that first knock, you start to hear the moans and groans of Yankee Stadium. Mind you, again, I'm sitting in section 121. I had been in the bleachers. I had been in the terrace. I had been upstairs at the 200 level. But now I'm like, okay, this is the end of the game. I want these last 3 outs. I want to sing Frank. I want to go into River Ave. I want to party in the streets with everybody. I want to go to Billy's. I want to go to Twins. I want to go to Stan's, Dugout, all that. I want to hang out. It's a Friday night. The next batter is Andres Jimenez, a left-handed hitter. Give me a second for the screenshot to come up. The same way we looked at the George Springer at bat. Let's pull up Jimenez at bat. You guys know if you watch the game or whatever, I don't have to tell you, but some people in here didn't. And let me walk you through what the stadium is like and what my emotions were like in the moment, right? I'm like, all right, it's a knock. Okay. He gets on. Double play ball coming, right? Let's induce a ground ball. Get it together. Get your control together. He's all over the place. First pitch he throws, four-seam basketball. That ball is up. That ball is high. It's too high. And it's not high. It's not far. It's not gone. But then the second one, ball outside in the right-handed hitter's batter's box, right? Then he throws the changeup, called strike. Then he gets a foul tip. Okay, so the count is 2-2. Devin Williams, strike this guy out. He throws a four-seam fastball inside that hits him. It is 9:42 p.m. when that happens. I'm telling you, instantaneously, the chant started, "We want Weaver. We want Weaver." And so when I hear that, my immediate reaction is to turn to my right because it was coming from, I'm in 121. It was coming from, honestly, like right behind the Yankees dugout. All the players can hear that shit, obviously. Devin Williams can hear that, obviously. And I'm like, yo, we haven't even gotten an out yet. And so this is why my tweet went off because, you know, a lot of people, and I understand, I used to be an at-home fan. I grew up never going to the stadium. But, like, there's a difference between being in the stadium, watching the game, and being at home. You can feel the stadium differently. You can feel the fans and the emotions. You can see the players and their reactions. Like, I go there to root for the Yankees. Whatever Yankees are on the field. Luke Weaver wasn't up. Mark Leiter Jr. was up. And I get it. Luke Weaver saved our ass last year because Clay Holmes sucked. But how many opportunities did they give Clay Holmes to blow it all season? It is April 26th. When was opening day? March 27th. We're not even a month in. And I get it. Luke Weaver, not for nothing, all of his outs in Cleveland, right? They put him in there with a 4-run lead. It was 5-1. They didn't put Devin Williams in another spot with 4 runs. They're trying to work it out differently. Okay, when fans start chanting, "We want Weaver," I think you're an idiot. But obviously a lot of people disagreed with me, and that's okay. What I feel like people disagreed with me about was they think that's an endorsement for Devin Williams. No. Let me go back to where I started here. Devin Williams sucks right now. Me saying that fans are chanting, "We want Weaver," they're idiots. That's me saying, do you want to lose the damn game? We haven't retired a batter yet. And you're chanting for the guy on the mound to be demoted in the process of potentially inducing a double play. Who knows, a triple play? I think that's dumb as hell. Am I going crazy? What I likened it to when Juan Soto wasn't available in the Dodgers series last year. I didn't go to Sunday Night Baseball. I went Friday, I went Saturday. I lost my voice. I didn't go Saturday. I'm like, I'm no use against these Dodgers fans in here on Sunday Night Baseball. Trent Grisham is up at bat, and Goofy start chanting, "We want Soto," glazing. Amazing glazing they had for Juan Soto, the same dude that dipped off and went across town. They're chanting, "We want Soto," while Trent Grisham is batting. I talked about it back then. I'm like, listen, you know, the thing about the bleachers and the bleacher creatures, we do the roll call in the beginning of the game. And I can't even say I was a bleacher creature for years. Now I'm not sitting there the entire game. I spent a few innings there last night. But the bleacher creatures do the roll call, and the code is, hey, we chant these guys' name in the first inning, the top of the first, to let them know we're here, we got them, we're behind all of them. But then we don't chant these guys' names. And like the bleacher creatures would never chant, "We want Soto," because we're rooting for the laundry. We're rooting for the people that are on the field. So how dumb is it a Friday night in the boogie down Bronx when they give out jerseys, sweaters, hockey sweaters, over 46,000 people in attendance? How dumb is it for you to turn on the pitcher on the mound in real time? At least we have Luke Weaver, and we know we can pivot to going to. We already have. I mean, we've pivoted to Luke Weaver. Fernando Cruz has a save. I think somebody else has a save on this team. But all I was saying was, you're an idiot if you are sitting there, not at home. If you're at home and you're boo, this guy sucks, we want Luke Weaver, I get it. But if you are physically in the stadium, you're supposed to will them to victory. You know, they play that, or when Luke Weaver's on, they do the Darth Vader to get your attention, right? 2 strikes, 2 outs, let's go, clap, stand up, encourage these guys. Now, that's all I'm going to say on that. Devin Williams sucks. He sucks right now. He's been a complete disappointment. He looks soft as hell. Like, get it together. You throw 2 pitches. And what the last thing I'll say in his favor is we all looked up the stats, right? We all looked up the stats. Historically, he's been a slow starter. April is about to be over, though, bro. This is New York. We don't accept slow starts. This is New York. I also defended him last night saying Nestor Cortez is on the 60-day IL. Caleb Durbin would not be playing on this team. So what the Yankees gave up for Devin Williams, who cares, bro? Who cares? We have one of the best closers in the game, one of the best relievers in the game. They got to get him right, and the only way they're going to get him right is putting him out there. Now, they might demote him from his closer spot. What if that doesn't help? What if Luke Weaver is not the same Luke Weaver taking the closer spot? I think he will. The ferocious jungle cat, Weavy Wonder, Luke Sky Weaver. I got no doubts with that guy. But I'm just saying, this is baseball. It's early. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't want to throw Devin Williams in the garbage, but he has been garbage. Let me hit the chat and see what you guys are talking about, because that's my spiel on Devin Williams as we get 20 minutes in, a little 10-minute intro in the last few minutes on Devin Williams. Keith, bro, glad I found you on YouTube. I appreciate you on WFN. You're my preferred sports guy on air. Keep crushing it. Thanks, bro. Make sure you call in and say that. Make sure you write that online, because there are a lot of people that'll say the opposite. Let's see. Some dudes can't handle the bright lights in the Bronx. Maybe he can't. This kid, I think, was born in Missouri. He played his whole career in Wisconsin. Miller Park is nothing like Yankee Stadium. I've been to both. It's nothing like that. And their fans, they're there to just drink beer and eat cheese curds, and they're chilling. Love the Yankees banner. Every office needs a quality banner like that. I've had that banner for so long, dude, and I love it, but I hate it at the same time, because when I got it in like 2010, I thought that bottom row would have at least 2 more years on it. Williams is soft. Mets fans, you have 100% right to say Pete Alonso broke Williams, because that's why the Brewers gave him up, right? He needed to change his scenery. So did Nestor Cortez. The Brewers gave him up, and he has not been the same with the Yankees. We have not seen it since. Luke Weaver should be the primary closer until at least we have the option to. At least, thank God, we have a guy that we know he can close. He can get those last 3 outs. Also, let's go Devin. Let's go Devils. Yo, Nemec. Shimon Nemec. Last night, baby. All-timer. Shout out to the Devils. I should have went to Newark instead of Bronx. Idiot. I mean, that will live a long time for Devils fans, hockey fans. Double overtime. Had to have it, and he got it done. Jim, what's up, man? Good to see you. What the hell is up with Sanders? We're going there next. We want Weaver. Location problems. Bro, fill up the zone. I didn't even talk about what happened next with Weaver, because with Devin Williams, because Alejandro Kirk doubles over Trent Grisham's head. He smoked that ball. If Trent Grisham isn't getting a good read, jump on it, it was over right then. Once they went up 3-2, I swear to you, I got up from my seat so fast and ran for the door. I went out there with full intentions of partying. Shout out to my boy Joey. I text Joey. I left Joey. We were going to be at Billy's. We were going to be at Twins. I had full intentions of staying in the Boogie Down Bronx till like 11, 12 last night, partying with everybody. As soon as Devin Williams gave up that double, I left. I'm like, well, I'm about to beat traffic. Now, if we lose, we still booze. But me, I can't get jiggy like that. I care too much. I can't be out there having a Coke and a smile. I can't be out there having a Corona and a smile. Rather, like, I'll be mad as hell. I cannot party out there after we lose. So anyway, I know y'all want to get to Shedeur, but I'm trying to show y'all love in the chat. Weaver chants didn't help. They just didn't help. And I know you can't police fans, but I have the right to, as a fan in there, to speak out about it, and I have the right to tweet about it, and I don't care if anybody disagrees. I've been in there for hundreds of games. You pick these guys up. Jonathan Loizaga is on his way back as well. They got to figure it out with Devin Williams. Devin Williams got to figure it out with himself. Right. It's a long season. This guy always starts slow in April and May, and it's been compounded. He's also a new father. I'm not making an excuse for that, but me having a 2-year-old son, I know how different life is once you step into fatherhood. Whatever, enough. He's got enough chances. They should give him a standing O to support him. Now, I did make that joke, right? And I'll pull that up. I did make that joke last night, and I was mad as hell. I put a video out, all that. But what I'm talking about is in New York, we eat our own. We literally eat our own in New York. We want to win, but yet we are not helping in the stands. We want to win, but yet we are chanting for somebody else. So I put Juan Soto responded to a standing ovation at home and talked about how much he and players appreciate it, but y'all still don't get it. Let's just throw Devin Williams in the trash April 25th. That's it. Like he's going to respond to not being a closer. At least we have Luke Weaver. At least we have Luke Weaver. At least we have him. Straight up. At least we have Luke Weaver, because that is the only reason. What would you chant? What would you chant if we didn't have Luke Weaver? We want Cruz. We want Leiter. Anyway, let's see. Scrolling through the chat. What up, Pam? Most fans don't really understand baseball, never played the game. I mean, and I always do that with football because I played in college at a high level, but like, I mean, you're right. I'm not even going to go deep into that. Like, because I didn't play baseball after age 13, but I love the game. And I always say I'm not Johnny Baseball. I'm not a baseball savant. But we're talking about fandom. We're talking about, hey, you haven't recorded an out yet, and you are not encouraging this guy on the mound who literally could have got it done. But everybody's saying now, we knew he wasn't going to get it done, Keith. Not everyone can play in the Bronx. Yes, they are going to have to handle him with kid gloves. They're going to try and give him soft. They already did, though. They tried to give him soft landing spots on the road. Yo, he's a big boy. But I'll tell you this. He's a free agent this year. He's not coming back. The Yankees won't pay him, and he's not going to want to come back here. He's going to want to go small market. But, yes, I still have hope that he'll figure it out. But we got to win these games, bro. We got to win these games. That pissed me off so bad last night. You should have won that game. We're still in first place, but you should have won that game 2-1. And I knew it was going to rain today. And obviously the Yankees have postponed the game today, and we'll get a doubleheader tomorrow. But I'm like, you need to win that game, yo. You need to win that game. You need to win that game, yo. You need to win that game, yo. Anyway, as we proceed, we're getting to Shedeur Sanders coming up. Because, I see here. Devils suck right now. Oh, I thought you said Devils. I was like, Devin sucks right now, but he's the closer and has to figure it out. But he's not. Boone was non-committal on if he's still the closer. So he might not be the closer. It depends on the situation. You think Shedeur gets picked today? Let me go back to the draft, see where we are. I think the further he falls, it's going to take a lot for someone. Like, so many players have been picked now. And quarterbacks like Gillen Gabriel, it's going to take a lot for a team to say, okay, we want to bring this media circus into our building. Okay, we want Dion, we want his brothers, we want all of the focus. Like Jalen Milroe went to the Seahawks, Dylan Gabriel went to the Browns. Like, all of these teams that potentially could draft Shedeur Sanders, they're checking off a box. They're saying we don't need the circus. We don't need the circus. So let's see here. My dryer's going off. I need to get to that. Let's put Christina up. I'm home and I'm doing laundry and I'm cleaning the house, and my son and my wife are back home down the shore, and I'm trying to have everything straight by the time they get back. So Christina says, been listening to you since George's box. Love your takes and vibes. I hope they let Devin figure it out with lower leverage, fix it and come back strong like Chad Green. Now, Yankee fans, there you go. I mean, George's box I did in 2019. A long way from that. But, like, we've seen this happen. Remember how they kept putting Zach Britton out there and Zach Britton was broken. I mean, you could just go back to last year, bro. They let Clay Holmes blow 13 saves. It's not like he wants to be bad. He's an upcoming free agent. Right. If you're a GM on a hot seat, are you taking a chance on him? Hell no. We're starting to get into the Shedeur Sanders conversation. No one wants that circus. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Sanders ain't getting drafted, unfortunately. I still think he gets drafted. If he plays another year in college, that NIL money is going to be crazy. Now, that is a crazy plot twist. Could he come back to Colorado and play another year? Yeah. I think he's got one more year of eligibility. And his dad is the coach. But they brought in this kid, Julian Lewis, who is like the number one of the top high school recruits. He's flipped his recruit from USC to go to Colorado. And they have this other kid who transferred from Liberty, who was balling at Liberty, Malik Willis's school. So they've got two quarterbacks that are ready and able. Yeah, Pray Holmes. That's what I was calling Clay Holmes. Pray Holmes, because every time he came into the game, we had to pray. I don't know what to call Devin Williams. The Airbender, D-Train. No, they're going to come up with a negative nickname for him. Okay, now we're about to start to get into the Shedeur Sanders conversation, and it's funny that Coach pulled up. I will say, Coach, you called my show weeks ago, and you hit me with a number of negative yardage with Shedeur Sanders. And at the time, I was like, I didn't know what that was. I'm like, what's the stat? And we put it together. You were one of the first people to talk about how many sacks this kid takes. So let's start there with the player. Shedeur Sanders went from being a number 3 projected pick, number 3 overall, to now potentially not being picked at all. And this thing is starting to snowball. I have had so many conversations with people in the last couple of days about this. Let's start with the football aspect of it. As a football player, I think that he's going to play in the NFL. I think he's got the skill set to play in the NFL. Do I think he's going to be a day one starter? Obviously not now. Do I think he has the talent to start in this league? I did not know. It would take the right situation. He did not have a good offensive line, and he supposedly didn't meet well. At all. There was a piece of audio that I heard from Todd McShay, and Todd McShay has no reason to lie. Todd McShay, I'll send it. I'll copy the link and send it in the chat if you guys want to hear it. I don't know if I could play it. I'd have to screen record it. But Todd McShay talked about the interview between Dable. And man, if we go back, Shedeur Sanders was telegraphing New York so hard. I talked about this on my show the other night. This kid came to New York during the Heisman Trophy ceremony for, obviously, Travis Hunter to win. That's his boy. That's his homie. And he went to the Nike Town store and he put blue and red laces in his all-white Air Forces. I've never seen anybody do that. And I'm like, oh, he's signaling. Big blue. He meets up with Malik Neighbors, the 6 overall pick of the Giants last year, their rookie sensation. And they're throwing the ball in the streets of New York. Signaling. That is signaling. Virtue signaling. That is it's just it's basically just saying hey, I'm here. All right, virtue signaling. The public expression of opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or social conscience. It's not exactly virtue signaling. What is the term I'm looking for? It is it's just wink, wink, nudge, nudge, all right, but follow me here. Then we see the cleats, right? And he never wore them in a game, but there were so many people talking about these damn cleats. And then there was a video where he says, you know where we going? You'll see them in the cleats later on this week. Looks like Colorado QB believes that he'll be drafted by New York. Now, follow where I'm going with this, folks. I just told you how he did all this signaling on his own. Projecting. Yes. That's the word, coach. Hey, coach, you smart. That's why I keep you around, coach. So he's basically projecting like this whole time, like, I'm going to go and be the quarterback of the New York Giants. They're going to draft me at 3. And those cleats that he never wore in the game, he had by his locker. Somebody photographed that, and it hit the internet and social media. Never, they don't forget. Sign posting, nonverbal, without basically what he was doing this whole time was saying it without saying it. And also, you know what it was? I'll write it in the chat because now it was it was wishful thinking. It was wishful thinking, boy, because you can't cheat the process. You also can't game the system. And now is where we're going to start getting deep into this conversation where some people are going, some people don't want to go, and I think I'm well-versed to go. Todd McShay to the Daily News. Shedeur didn't have a great interview with Giants head coach Brian Daboll in a private visit. An install package came in. Preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it. Didn't like that. Brian didn't appreciate him not liking that. Oh, boy, do I have so many ways that I can relate to this and speak to this. I remember my sophomore year at James Madison University. We're going to play UNC Chapel Hill. I'm the third string quarterback. I used to party. I used to come to practice hungover, half drunk, didn't care because I'm third string. I'm the backup's backup. I'm not getting on the field. I remember getting exposed and tightened up in week 1 to be ready for every meeting after. Coach goes to the whiteboard, and he doesn't start with the starter. He doesn't start with the backup. He goes, McPherson, third down. We come out in Clemson, trips right. What is the coverage? What defense is UNC going to run against this? I had no idea. He had given me a DVD with all of the film on it. I didn't watch it. We had a little pamphlet on, what defense they ran, depending on what personnel we put out there. I didn't know it. There was only 4 of us in the room, but boy, was I embarrassed. And that feeling I never wanted to have again. If you fail to prepare to fail. And don't be so arrogant and don't be so sure of yourself that you know everything. I think that they got into a meeting, and if you watch Hard Knocks last year, Brian Daboll is a football mind. That's all you heard. You heard Russell Wilson at the watch party say Dave's is so great. He's such a football guy. He's got a great offensive mind. You just heard Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee say, love Brian Daboll. We had some great conversations. Beautiful football mind. If you watched Hard Knocks last year and you watched Jaden Daniels with that whiteboard, Drake May with that whiteboard, Brian Daboll is throwing out offensive formations, plays, and trying to trick these guys into just testing their football knowledge as quarterbacks. As a quarterback, you have to have a high level IQ. You got to know what your personnel is doing and what the defense is doing. You got to know what everybody on the field is doing. And if you think you can just come in there, I told them bust down my AP, perfect timing. It does not work in the NFL. Now we're about to get deep. Now we're about to go where y'all don't really want to go, but maybe some of y'all do because I'm seeing a lot of people hating on Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders came into this entire process super confident, and I think that was by design. I think that his father and his camp told him, hey, the film speaks for itself. The film does speak for itself, but everybody's not speaking your language. There's a lot of things on film that don't translate. And Deion has coached his son in high school, at Jackson State, HBCU, and at Colorado. He's letting him go now. He can't coach him now. These NFL coaches don't have time for the entitlement. These NFL coaches rather draft Tyler Shuck, who's going to come in quiet with no film crew, no social media, no YouTube channel, no father lurking in the background, ready to hit the media. And, then they got to deal with, hey, if something goes wrong or your son's not playing or whatever, we got to hear with that. Like, the entitlement has reached a level where I'm like, wow, I can respect Deion Sanders for doing everything for his son, but they misplayed their hand here. There was a tweet that Deion put out where he said his son was going to be a top 5 pick. Let's see if I can find it. Deion, top 5 pick. They misplayed their hand completely. I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. You know why I don't? Because they are rich. They are famous. They're not hurting for nothing. They're just getting humbled right now. They're getting completely embarrassed right now. Deion should have stayed away from this right here. Tell your son stop acting like he the coldest out there, then put up a 4-8 season. That's facts. See his son with the expensive watch on the field? Deion quote tweeted, he said he will be a top 5 pick. Where your son going? LOL. I got time today. I wish you did not have the time, coach. Prime, I love you. Shedeur, I love you. I've been following these guys since they had the reality show. That's where I first met Shedeur. Let me see if I can pull it up. Deion's Family Playbook. Y'all remember this or y'all don't remember this? Y'all might not remember this, but Keith McPherson remembers, and that's why I'm doing this live because, like I said, I think I am well equipped to talk all around this stuff, yo. I'm well equipped. I see what has happened here. So Deion's Family Playbook. That's Shedeur in the front row with the pink hoodie and the denim on. Back then, they referred to him as grown, right? They referred to him as grown because he was the youngest son. But being the youngest son, Deion Sanders Jr., Shiloh, and now Shedeur, he was very mature. And they showed him working out. They showed Deion being a father to him. And Deion did everything in his career, in his path, around making sure his sons were good. Now, like, follow what I'm, pick up what I'm putting down. Let me see what the chat is saying. I mean, if Johnny Manziel got drafted, how does that's different. Johnny Manziel had elite talent in the SEC. He beat Bama. He was balling. And they didn't care that he was going to the club. They didn't care that he was going to the casino. That's a perfect point. The NFL will draft anybody. You could kill somebody in a car crash. You could be in a drag racing car crash, Jalen Carter. You go top 10. You could be in domestic violence disputes. You could hit a woman. They'll bring you in. You could have all types of stuff go on. And that's another thing about this era. We are seeing also the impact of Shedeur and all of the money and the NIL. And like Shedeur has a Gatorade commercial out right now. He's got to deal with Nike. He was wearing a Nike shirt, the 2 legendaries. He's got the deals already because it's coming from college. They are getting humbled right now. The machine is working against them right now. And it is what it is. I don't feel any kind of way about it. Like, Deion, kind of overplayed his hand. So if you're talented enough, they're going to take you. That is where we're at right now. The talent does not outweigh what comes with taking the player. The arrogance didn't help, and I think he was coached to go in there and be confident. But like, I didn't say this. The bowl game went terribly for them. He got hit in that bowl game. I swear, I'm at Jeju. If you've ever gone to Christopher Street Path Station and you come up and you go to the Jeju Noodle Bar, I'm at Jeju with my wife. I'm watching the bowl game on my phone. And Shedeur is in the pocket. The pocket closes. The field opens up the middle. He takes off. He is not fleet of foot. That's another thing. He ain't his daddy, right? His dad is an all-time great. So his dad could say whatever he want, be bombastic, whatever, be over the top. And it was like whatever, the talent speaks for itself. Shedeur takes off, and the defense closes in on him. Boom. I think a linebacker and a safety hit him. He gets his bell rung. He might have been semi-concussed. He wasn't right the rest of the game. They end up losing that game. 1 strike. You lost to BYU, who was in your conference. You lost to them in the Alamo Bowl or whatever. 1 strike. But like at first it was, oh, good on you playing in a bowl game. A lot of guys wouldn't do that. Well, one strike there. Then you go to the East-West Shrine game where you don't work out, you don't practice, and you don't play. You also give your phone number out to these agents or these scouts and these NFL personnel people. You give them a number, and then you lose that phone. And you do your podcast, which I follow on YouTube. Look it up, Too Legendary. And you say, yeah, I had my mom turn the house upside down looking for that phone. Young man, you should know where the hell the phone is. Do you want to go to the NFL? Do you want to play in the NFL? Do you want to be drafted? Now there's a video of him getting prank called, right? Now there's a video of Shedeur getting a prank call. And like, that's where I'm like, damn. And the internet is ruthless and people have been pranking people forever. There's a video floating around where he takes a call and they're like, yo, what the F was that? Because the person on the phone, he's all happy on the phone. And the person says, you're going to have to wait a little longer. And Shedeur is like, yo, what the hell was that? Only NFL people got this phone number. Yeah. Well, all right. Now I'm counting the strikes, right? Not a good showing in your bowl game. You show up to the East-West Shrine game and you're too big for that. There are ballers there. There are kids that are way more talented than you that play a different position that did not have as much given to them, that had to get it out the mud, and they are out there working. And you show up and you don't want to work out and you don't want to play. You're already bigger than that because your tape speaks for itself. Okay. On top of that, you give out a phone number and you lose that phone number. It's a strike. It's a strike against you. That's 3 strikes before we even get close to the draft. Then you go to the combine. And you are icy at the combine. I'm telling you, the diamonds that he had dancing on him, that's all I could look at. That's a flex. You're flexing on these personnel, these assistant coaches and these scouts. They don't make as much money as you. They don't have as much money as you do. And these are guys that are twice your age. They're not going for it, Shedeur. They gave him bad info. They literally set this kid up for failure, yo. He failed himself. Now that's 4 strikes. You go to the combine and you're talking about, I'm a culture changer. History repeats itself. I went to Jackson State, took a losing program and turned it around. I went to Colorado, took a losing program and turned it around. Full stop. Full stop. You had the power then. You are powerless now. 888-808-1019. Like, are you following me? When he came out of Trinity Academy or wherever he went to high school, Shedeur was coached by Dion. And I don't know how many colleges would have hired Dion as a college coach. Trinity Leadership Public School. That's where he went to school. Shedeur was supposed to go to Florida Atlantic. I'm telling you, I've been following this. He was supposed to go to Florida Atlantic. Dion didn't like the way that his son was being recruited. He felt like his son wasn't getting recruited like a 5-star blue chip athlete because he's not. So Dion used his power to step in and say, you know what? I'm going to do it my own way. Kind of like LeVar Ball. You know what? I'm going to take my son, to Lithuania or wherever the hell the youngest one went. LaMelo. Okay. It's only so long that you have the power. The system will work against you. The machine sent out the memo. Like, it's a privilege to play in the NFL. We don't need you. You need us. So you follow me? He was supposed to go to Florida Atlantic, and he didn't like, I think he got some offers, but he didn't like the level of like they weren't treating him like they were treating other top quarterbacks in the country. So Shedeur goes to Jackson State. And since Shedeur is already Shedeur, and he's famous, and he's got followers, and he's got motion out there, he was already connected to Travis Hunter, one of the best players in the country. They were already friends, I think through Twitch. And so he was able to convince Travis Hunter, two-way player, who wanted to play both ways in college. It wasn't a lock that he was going to be able to do that. He was supposed to go to Bama. Remember Nick Saban having beef with Dion? And Nick Saban, got out of the NIL era, and Nick Saban said, well, Dion gave the kid $1 million to go there. And Dion, I'm sure they gave him some money, but it might not have been $1 million at the time. But Dion came out and was like, we don't have to pay people, right? He made it a black thing. Now we're about to get to where y'all really don't want to go. He made it a black thing. He said, like we support our own. He's coming with me. Dion, who had experience as a two-way player, Travis Hunter saying, who better to learn from than Dion? And what better thing to do than to go to an HBCU and put on for the brothers, put on for the black community. Now, you can go on Amazon Prime and watch the streaming show. I've watched a few episodes of it. The support that Dion and Shedeur and Travis Hunter and even Shiloh got going to Jackson State, Walter Payton's alma mater, who had been terrible, breathing life into that HBCU nationally, where black people supported them, rappers supported them. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. Young Dolph and Key Glock were pulling up there. Gilly the Kid and Wallow were pulling up there with their massive internet presence. A ton of rappers were coming to an HBCU that didn't have motion like that. Some of the rival HBCU teams in the SWAC, they didn't like it. They felt like it was a huge disadvantage. They pushed back against it. I remember Dion. There's a Suede the Remix God song where Dion's like, "Who is SWAC if I'm not SWAC?" Like they basically were saying like what Dion's doing. This is not the HBCU way. This isn't whatever. So okay, but now you made it a black thing where you have black Twitter. You have a lot of the black community helicoptering in saying, "Go Dion, go Shedeur, go Travis." 2 years and then they left. Some people didn't feel great about that. Oh, now, wait, you were supposed to be supporting the historically black college. Now you're leaving the historically black college better than you found it. But now you're leaving them? Yeah, because you know who came calling? A Power 5 school. Colorado, who was 1-11, who desperately needed life, who desperately needed anything to pick up their program that had been struggling for 20 years. They didn't even have the money to pay Dion. They didn't have the millions, but they knew the prime stimulus package was coming. I've been out there to Boulder, Colorado. Anybody in the chat been to Boulder, Colorado? I'm going to take a break and get back to the chat after I finish this rant. It's beautiful out there, but it's quiet out there. It's crickets out there. Man, Dion brought Lil Wayne out there. Dion brought The Rock out there. College Game Day out there. Cameron, Mace, BX The Plug, The Baby. Now, this school out in Colorado has become a black mecca for black players. The black enrollment in the school went up. It doubled, tripled. And now people are looking at the college on College Game Day. They're on Fox. Their games are available. But you know what you got to do? You got to win. And they started off, remember they beat TCU? Woo! And they started talking big. And it's hard to sustain once you get that target on your back. They went to play Bo Nix in Oregon, and they got smacked. And you know what they did? Pride always goes before the fall. They walked out on that field in Oregon where they've played some big-time football over the years, and they stepped on the logo. They walked to the 50-yard line, and they stood on that O. And those Oregon Duck boys got fired up and whooped their ass, opened a can of whoop ass on them. They started to get humbled then. All right, let's see what they're saying in the chat. Cam Ward showed up to the NFL draft with a thin chain, exactly, and was in tears almost, couldn't talk about what it meant to him as a kid who wanted it and put in the work and had to go to Incarnate Word, transfer to Washington State, transfer 1 year to Miami to make it happen. I think that's wrong. They did not pick him. He's a great football player. Let me check. Did they pick him while I've been going on this rant? I think he's going to get picked. But they're going to want this to be quiet. They're going to want this to be quiet. No, he's still not picked. He might actually not get drafted. This is historic. This is historic. We'll get there in a minute. But like, I'm giving you guys a lot of information and context that you need. Youth football as well. Always been coaching staff with his son. Yes, this is the first time he's going to break away where your pops is not coaching. Man, I played with a lot of coaches' sons. A lot of them that weren't that good. And I'm like, you wouldn't even be rocking if your pops wasn't making the decision. In Shedeur's defense, ego problem is a joke. Everyone in the NFL, you could make a case. Well, no, you need an ego in anything in life. but you also have to like have self-awareness. You also have to be humble. You know, there's something I always say. And I'm going to make sure I say this. Great, not greater than. Be great, but don't be greater than other people. I treat every single person I meet the same. I know I'm great. I know how hard I've worked. I know how God has blessed me. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. But I never let that tread on somebody else. Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders, and their entire camp have treaded on a lot of people. There are a lot of people that I'm starting to see now celebrating their downfall. There are a lot of people celebrating this young man not getting to live his dream. And let's talk about that. As I talk about, being great, not greater than. I'm not greater than any human being. I get sick like everybody else. I could die tomorrow like anybody else. But like every day that I'm above ground, I'm working my ass off to be great. But that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. I don't you can't carry yourself like that. You'll make a lot of enemies like that. And they have. Bars. What's up, Grace? Good to see you in here. Ben, good to see you as well. Yes, this is historic. They have pissed off coaches. They have pissed off scouts. They have pissed off programs. They have pissed off HBCU programs. They've pissed off college programs. They've pissed off people on TV. They retired this kid's number. I get it. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award for his stats, but they retired his number. There are better players that have come out of Colorado that didn't even get to they retired Shedeur's number. He's about to go undrafted. I'm telling you, this is the machine. Deion overplayed his hand, and now the machine is smacking his hand. Nope. We don't need you. You need us. The universe never unconnects. That's something else I say, and the universe will humble you. God will humble you. And you know what? I do think there's a plan here. These are God-fearing men. They talk a lot about God. I know Deion, he preaches, prime preach. But even Shedeur, right? Shedeur, it just rubbed me the wrong way. At his party, right? And they were going to have this big party at the University of Colorado. They had to call the whole thing off. Because one, Travis is like, this is my dream. I'm going to Green Bay. I'm walking across that stage. Okay, bye, Travis. Once they got word, they don't know where they're going. He's starting to free fall. They canceled that Colorado pep rally that they were going to have on campus to celebrate together Shedeur getting drafted. Good, because they had a party in Canton, Texas, where he grew up, at his dad's house that he grew up in. And it was sad. But you know what rubbed me the wrong way? Shedeur got up there and he said, we all know this wasn't supposed to happen. What you mean, bro? What you mean? Like when Eli Manning didn't become a first ballot Hall of Famer, did Eli say, we all know this wasn't supposed to happen? It's not how it goes, bro. You're not bigger than the game. You're not bigger than the system. You're not bigger than the business. You're a good football player. You're not great. Jackson Dart, they traded up to get Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart leapfrogged you. And you know what I said on my show Thursday night? I said Jackson Dart, he skyrocketed, and he was not that good. I watched him. Man, that game against Florida, that should have dropped his draft stock completely the way he turned the ball over. And knowing what we know about Lane Kiffin and Lane Kiffin's offense and how they had to dumb it down and vanilla it for him, he's a project. But the Giants rather take a swing and give up assets for a project than deal with a headache. Jackson Dart, I was on air the night that he balled out and he won MVP of the Tax Slayers Gator Bowl or whatever it was. And I'm like, yo, he's playing against Duke. And he's playing against a Duke team that is missing some of their best players because of the NIL and the bowl game and NFL. Some guys didn't want to play. He made some great throws, but I'm like, he was never supposed to be a first-round quarterback. Going into the season, nobody was talking about Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss being drafted in the first round. But you know what he did? He showed up to the Senior Bowl. He outplayed Jalen Milroe there. You know what he did? He showed up to the Combine, and he threw to receivers that he never threw with. He threw. He didn't talk a big game. And then you know what else he did? He showed up to his pro day, did his thing there, and he showed up to his individual meetings, and he impressed. I don't know if he impressed John Gruden, but clearly he impressed the Giants. So
Just going back to where we were in the chat. Him falling so far has to mean to me he doesn't love the game enough, but he thinks he does. No, now see, this I think he loves the game. I think he loves football. And this is what I'll say. Football, I fell out of love with football when I got to college. Because I'm like, man, I'm hurt. I'm tired. I'm not going to the NFL. I'm tired of getting tackled. I'm tired of having to get up to run at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, go to a weight room. Like, I just want to be a regular student. And I'm one of the only people that I know. I gave my scholarship back my 5th year. I decided to forego my 5th year. My 5th year, I could have played with Chris Hogan at Monmouth University, but I was like, I didn't care anymore. I hated it. It was my ticket out of where I grew up. It was my ticket out of my situation to get to college and get my degree. But then by the time I played for 4 years, as a 5th year senior, after redshirting, I did not want it anymore. I knew what I wanted to do. I was at Monmouth University. I was part of the radio club. I knew I wanted to be on that radio every day. I knew I wanted to be involved with the TV club, Hawk TV. I knew I wanted to be at that TV station every day, getting reps, practicing, because I thought I had a better opportunity, which now it makes sense, right? I've been on TV a ton of times. I'm on the radio every night. But like back then, I fell out of love with the game. Shedeur Sanders loves football because he's rich. He could do anything. He could start his own business. He didn't have to take this route. And his brothers played DB like their dad. Obviously, he wasn't fleet of foot enough, but you know what? He took it upon himself to be a quarterback, and he does read defense as well. He worked with Tom Brady. There's a Tom Brady storyline here because Tom Brady ends up being the GOAT, and Tom Brady was pick 199 in the 6th round. I am waiting for the team, the owner, the head coach, the GM that is going to be bold enough. Because, man, once we start to get to this 5th, 6th round here, the 4th round, I think, is ending now. The 4th round just ended. Once we're getting into the 5th round, like Dak Prescott fell to the 4th round. And look at the money and look at the accolades Dak Prescott has put together. Now we're getting into the territory 5th, 6th, 7th round. Like Brock Purdy exists as well. Like Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be picked there. He loves the game. And when your dad is rich and your dad is Deion Sanders, you could just ride his coattail. You don't have to put in all that blood, sweat, and tears that this young man has put in the weight room, on the field, practicing, doing all that to make it. He loves football. He definitely loves the game. But I think he misplayed his hand. He did a lot, man. He did and said a lot that hurt his draft stock. Yeah, they want guys with no fathers so they can manipulate them. I never heard anyone say Donald Trump needs to be humbled. I don't know where you're going, D-Rels. Tell me you insecure without being insecure? I don't know where you're going with all this. I wouldn't say they want guys with no fathers. Deion Sanders himself talked about how when they recruit quarterbacks, they want quarterbacks that grew up in a 2-parent household with structure, with discipline, with balance, being forced to make the right decisions. He said when they recruit defensive linemen, they want trench babies, single mama, Section 8, got to get it out the mud, grinding, fighting to get mama out the hood. So I don't know, the Donald Trump thing. Donald Trump is a complete Nepo baby. Never heard anyone say Donald Trump needs to be humbled. You can't humble him. People have definitely tried to say that. I love watching him at Colorado. I'm not even a Colorado fan, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of us watched and enjoyed that. They took Folsom Field and turned it into something. It went from nothing to something fast. Got it popping. What up, Dalton? Good to see you, bro. I'm going back 20 minutes in the chat. I don't know what you guys are on, bro. Anthony Caputo, do you work a job? Rel, what are you talking about? I don't know what that was. I'm just gonna go past that. There's confidence and there's arrogance, of course. And the two get confused a lot. You got to be confident, but like, don't be arrogant. There's a system that has been in play here for years with the NFL, with the college season, being scouted, going to the pro day combine, going through this whole process of meetings and you can't he entered this whole thing and thought that his film was good enough and his name was big enough that he could just jump all of that and this is the machine right now working against him saying, nope, the rest of these kids did it the right way. Nope. The rest of these guys, they had no name, they had no money, they didn't have their dad coaching them. And they worked their asses off to get here. That's the kind of guy we're drafting. That's the kind of guy we're bringing in. because it's the NFL, right? You can't. All right. So now where we are with Shedeur, and he's going to sign, if he doesn't get drafted, he's going to sign a unrestricted free agent thing here. But now, like, the money that he was going to be owed, no one decided to invest first round, second round, third round money in him. So now he's going to be a nothing burger, where if you're not good and you're not performing, you can be cut. And also, if you are good but you're not starting and your dad wants to talk on ESPN about what's going on, you can be cut. Like, you guys aren't seeing the forest through the trees here with these NFL teams and the business of it all. They don't need it. Yeah, D-Rose, I don't know what you on, bro. You about to get sent up out of here. Humbled. You black, you shouldn't have confidence. Like, do we want to do that? Ban user and delete comment. Like, the black part of it is also there. Story of OJ, the Jay-Z song. If you guys don't know this song, you should look it up. OJ, like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. The whole message in that song is that OJ Simpson, football player who became a commercial guy and a superstar, thought back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, he was above things because of who he was. So much so he thought he was above being black. Never will happen. Kanye had a line where he said, even if you in a Benz, you still an N-word in a coupe. Now, like, this stuff is hard for people to process and hard for people to hear. It ain't hard for me because I'm black. I lived it. And I've also, like, I've been around white people my entire life. I understand all of it. It's unfortunate, but black people are minorities. It's unfortunate, but black people do not have ownership. They do not have power in this country. They do not control things. Not yet, maybe not ever. And this is exactly it, right? So when the black thing is coming in here and they're starting to talk about Shedeur being blackballed like Colin Kaepernick, it's a completely different thing, but, like, you can't take it out of the conversation. And it's a part of the conversation people don't want to have. And some people are saying, oh, they're using the black card. They're crying victim. Deion said that there were some teams that he wouldn't let his son play for. He said a lot, saying a little. They're basically showing you you're rich, you're powerful, but you're powerless here. And we're going to teach our black ass a lesson. And it is part of it, because people can say, what if this was like, they're pointing to all of these quarterbacks like a Tim Tebow, right? Tim Tebow didn't have it, but Tim Tebow got drafted early. Even just like, there are a lot of things to unpack here with this situation. I know I've said on the radio, I'm like, we have never seen a young black quarterback come into the league with this name and this much money and this much fame. And I honestly do think a memo has been sent across the league. We're going to show them. We're going to teach them a lesson. How many black owners are there in the NFL? I'll wait. And I'm not talking about like Serena Williams as a minority owner. I'm talking about like the Arthur Blanks, Robert Krafts of the world. There are zero. There are zero. And you can't take race out of this thing. So Rel wanted to be racist in the chat as far as saying, you're black, you shouldn't have confidence. No, you just gotta. You should have supreme confidence, because black people are amazing. A lot of us are super talented and don't get the respect that we deserve, don't get the opportunities we deserve. I've talked about it a ton. Like, the obstacles and things that I've had to deal with in my life, that I've had to hurdle. Like, I can speak to this forever. I could do 5 hours on this. Like, my mom, as a single black woman in America, like, moved us to Ocean Township so that I could go to the predominantly white school. Why? Because she wanted me to have a shot. She wanted me to have a chance. My brother was going to school in a school nearby, which was predominantly black, where a lot of those kids were not graduating. A lot of those kids were getting in trouble. My brother got into a fight when he was like 13. I was 3. By the time I was 4 or 5 years old, we moved out of that neighborhood. We moved out of a house into a small apartment because my mother had the presence of mind to say, I want my younger son, me, and my younger sister, Taylor, to have an opportunity to get a good education, to be in a safer place so that they can potentially win in life. It is the harsh truth. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. When you look at Deion Sanders and what he's been able to build and do with his power because of his NFL career, his Hall of Fame career, his brand, his connections, this is where the road meets the pavement. This is where they're hitting a wall. The NFL made you, Deion. You don't get to call any shots here. You don't get to call any shots here. I'll let somebody else say it that's not black. Peter Rosenberg always is good at speaking on these matters. And, he just had some tweets that were getting picked up. You cannot ignore what's going on here. It is not that Shedeur Sanders does not have the talent. It is now gotten deeper into race things, into a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. We're all going to have to talk about it. And I don't ever shy away talking about race because I think that's the only way we progress. During the like Black Lives Matter movement and all that, I had a friend named Ben, and he was like, bro, I feel so terrible. Like, what can I do to help? And I'm like, listen, understand, be an ally, have compassion, understand that, like, and my boy Ben, like, he really understood. I'm like, understand that, like, you get pulled over by a cop and you're telling the cop to F off. I get pulled over by a cop, I'm scared for my life. Just understand that, like, you have had circumstances and preferences and things that were given to you that were not available for me. So Peter Rosenberg writes, some white people may not understand why race is becoming a conversation around Shedeur. It may or may not have anything to do with what's going on here, but the relationship between America and brash black athletes has a deep history. And I'll go back to the tweet so I can read more. He says, white America is historically angered by and scared of men like Shedeur Sanders. So whether that's what's happening here or not, that history and feeling cannot go away. And before it starts, all of you people who are angered by this tweet and feel the need to lash out and attack me for saying it, just know that you are part of the problem. Acknowledging history is good. The more you protest the existence of racism, the more racist the person protesting. Any non-racist person should have zero issue pointing out that racism is a problem. And, he goes on to say, oh, no, I said the word racism, and people get triggered. But earlier he said, now we sit midday Saturday heading into round 4. Now we're literally in round 5. And kids that you've never heard of are becoming NFL players. And so he says, it's officially bizarre that Shedeur Sanders has not been drafted. I always thought he was slightly overrated, but definitely someone who should get drafted and get a crack at being an NFL starter. Being an NFL player, he's good enough to play in the NFL. He's good enough to be drafted. He led a college team. They won games, and he had some miraculous moments, some great throws. But you cannot say that this thing isn't completely compounded now by the name on the back of his jersey, his father, his arrogance, his own arrogance and his approach, and the system that we are all in America and in business. This is a business thing. There's levels of the NIL stuff, too, that I already mentioned. Him having all of these NIL deals, he's a multimillionaire already. Him having a Gatorade commercial, Nike deal, who knows what else. I follow his podcast. They got a deal with Aqua di Gio, the cologne. So that is a huge entity to bring into your entity to try to control. And if you try to control Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders, they have some power where, like, it's a power struggle that they're avoiding. So let's see. They're going to have to retire it. They're not now. They put it up there, but it just looks super janky now. I thought it was janky. Travis Hunter, I understand. He won the Heisman. But they're going to They did what they did. Keith, appreciate as always. Love from the Bronx. Appreciate you. The universe never unconnects. Is that how you say it? Yes, sir. Those are going to be printed on shirts too. When I say the universe never unconnects, what I mean is all of this stuff is destiny. All of this stuff is written in the stars. All of us are walking paths in life, and you can walk the wrong path and not reach your destiny. You'll reach a wrong destiny. But like, there's no coincidences, you know. In my own life, in my own journey, like I told you guys my story. It's no coincidence that I went to 2 colleges and I had this feeling in my gut about leaving one and going to the other. Like, let's take me for example, bro. Like, some of you in here listen to me on WFAN. Do you think I'm one of the better hosts on WFAN? Do you think I have the talent to be on a better time slot? Do you think I have the ability to be on TV? I've been. I was on MLB Network on Off Base, a first of its kind show. I've done multiple things on the Yes Network. I've been on the NBC Nightly News, right? I wouldn't have gotten any of those opportunities without a college degree. That would have been a barrier to entry right there. Oh, you didn't go to school? You didn't study? You don't have a shot. I don't have any nepotism. I'm the first person in my family to go to college and graduate. I had no freaking choice, bro. I had no choice. Or I would not have made it. But like, I'm 36 years old. I've been working my ass off my entire life, and I still don't feel like I've made it. I still got more to prove. I still got more to do. But the system isn't set up for me to just be a meteor and ascend. This is my 4th year on WFAN. And man, I'm blessed because I have a ton of people that listen and like my show, and I've branded KM to AM. You know, like that's my time slot. That is my show. But when I first came in, I was hit with a ton of racism. When I first came in, I was hit with ridiculous things online. I don't even need to repeat them, but I'm sure you could imagine, me coming in with quote unquote no experience, me coming in with, I'm trying to change the lighting in here, change the mood a bit. Me coming in here with no radio experience, replacing a legend. Most people expected me to fail. Most people expected me to not be good. And every day I'm working on being better. But like, WFAN had Tony Page as a black host, and he did the overnight for X amount of years, never moved up, never got the opportunity to be on the morning show, midday, afternoon. Even the New York Post wrote about me when Spike Eskin left. The phrasing that they used, I thought was so hilarious, but it was so true. All good jokes contain truth. Let me see if I can find it. I got to scroll back so I could literally show you guys. Because when I read this, like I clipped this, I posted it on my Instagram, and I sent it to everybody. I'm like, bro, like this is so matter of fact that it's not offensive. This is so true that like all you can do is look at it and be like, yeah. The word that they used was paucity, and I don't know if I can find the article or the when Spike Eskin, who shout out to Spike, Spike is the reason that I got to WFAN. It was his decision. It was him reaching out. It was him finding me. It was him putting his name on the line. Oh, my mic was muted. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I was just reading, and I hit this by accident. Eskin's fan had to be different because the media world has changed. Eskin, along with Odyssey New York president Chris Olivero, who is akin to Yankees or Mets GM in my analogy, are evolving the station to the times. At night, they replaced Summers with Keith McPherson, a black host on a station that has had a paucity of them. And, that's why I joke. And, you're like, when I kick my random raps, and people hear me say stuff like, I had the rap where I was like, not DEI, TBH, I'm TBE. Because after the Black Lives Matter movement, right, the DEI term of diversity, equity, inclusion popped up, and woke popped up. And people think now that like talented, hardworking people like me, who have had a ton of hurdles put in front of me, like I'm only getting an opportunity now because I'm black. That's ass backwards, bro. And shout out to my mom who's in the chat. Hopefully my mom, heard me talk about her decision to move us to Ocean Township High School. She's the one that just alerted me that my mic was muted. Can't hear you on YouTube. So thanks, Ma. My mom can speak to politics and racism and things that I've had to face in my life a ton. So you can't say that's not there with Shedeur Sanders as we bring it back home and I get back to the chat. Thanks for holding while I was muted. This button right here, you can't see. This mutes the mic. So I guess my hand hit it. Appreciate all of you watching. We got almost 1,500 here. Are you on air tomorrow night? No. So I was supposed to swap my Friday night show and be on Sunday, but now the Yankees doubleheader is going to eat that show. Appreciate you going live today. Always appreciate hearing your opinion. Of course, I had enough people texting me about it where I'm like, all right, I don't have a show until Monday night. I gotta strike while this is going on. Damn, Shedeur about to be LeAngelo Ball. Not even. Shedeur Sanders drafted by. All right, breaking news. Shedeur Sanders. It happened. The Browns did it. He could win that job. Congrats to Shedeur Sanders. While we are on live, let's talk about this more. And I will upload it here right now. Let me take this off. Yeah, your mic is off. Keith, we don't hear you. You're muted. Your mic is off. Yeah, send this clip to John Boy. Fuck John Boy. Keith, you're muted. I didn't like how John Heyman spoke to you. They see you as a threat. Hey, hey, you said it, not me. But preach, preach. Because I've broken into media, right, without being a pen pusher. I've broken into a space where, like, they don't think I belong. I very much belong because I relate to so many different kinds of people that they can never relate to. They think that they're above people. I'm not. I already told y'all, great, not greater than. Let's see. Browns got a steal. Hell yeah, they did. So here it is. And let me retweet my live talking Shedeur Sanders to the Browns now. Yeah, some people are tweeting. So he ends up going in the 5th round, pick 144 overall. And here are my thoughts. Right? It's funny. Shedeur Sanders is physically and mentally tough. What happened to all of that, right? Position ranked number 2. He ends up being what? What number quarterback? Was he like the 6th quarterback taken? Positions. Let's see. Quarterback. Yeah, he's the 5th quarterback taken. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of these quarterbacks are taken. Like this is going to build a chip on this kid's shoulder. You gotta love it. So he goes to a place where if they allow a fair competition, he could start week 1. And now this gives me an opportunity to flex my own degrees of separation as well. Let me put this up though. Now, this is, the Brady Six. You guys ever see the Brady Six documentary? So I'm always itching my nose. I know my mom's probably like, stop scratching noses. It's the allergies. Ma, I'll call you after this. Tell you about something else. Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel. There is no way that Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe, and Dylan Gabriel should be drafted over Shedeur Sanders. But shout out to the Cleveland Browns who said, we are going to get this right. The Cleveland Browns said, we have not been able to find a quarterback here ever. We can handle this. We thought about taking Shedeur 2 overall. We can handle this. We brought in Deshaun Watson and gave him the most guaranteed money ever after 23 women alleged sexual assault. They can handle Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family and the media circus. But now their quarterback room is so crowded. You got to love it. Let me see if I can find my degrees of separation tweet and just screenshot it here, and then I'll tell the story. Because I am connected to 2 quarterbacks that Shedeur Sanders will now be in a quarterback room with. And good for Shedeur. Go to Ohio, bro. It's not flashy. Go to Ohio and lock in. And maybe you could become the franchise quarterback there. Who knows? So here's my little spiel as we now, like I told you, he was going to get drafted. But he dropped that far. And that's like they took Dylan Gabriel ahead of him. And that's a mistake. That's a waste of a pick. You could have added talent elsewhere. Now you take 2 rookie quarterbacks, and it's like the Browns always show you that they don't know what the hell they're doing. But I think they got a steal of a deal today. When I was recruited out of Ocean Township High School, Kenny Pickett's high school, Kenny Pickett got traded to the Browns from the Eagles a couple weeks ago. I had an offer from the University of Delaware. 2 legends from my high school, John Key and Eddie Conti. They went from Ocean Township High School to the University of Delaware. I thought about going. Ma, remember when we went and we hung out with Casey Keeler? I thought about going then, and I heard Joe Flacco was transferring in from Pitt, which was Kenny Pickett's school. Both Browns now. So Kenny Pickett went to my high school. 10 years after me, he played quarterback. I got to coach him when he was 11. You guys have probably heard this story if you listen to my radio show. When he was 11, I got to coach him at the Big Red football camp when I was 21. We'll forever root for that kid. Watched so many of his college games, knew he was going to make it. When I was getting recruited, I went to the University of Delaware, and I kind of big leagued them. I remember I showed up to their camp. They had already offered me. So I didn't even bring my cleats. I didn't bring any shorts. I didn't even bring workout clothes. And the head coach at the time, Casey Keeler, loved me so much and wanted me to come there because of the lineage of, 2 guys from my high school that went there and were stars. Casey Keeler was like, you don't got to work out. They already offered me. I remember talking to their offensive coordinator at the time, and I forget his name. And we were in a classroom. We were talking about the offense and what offense they were going to run. And I remember getting a message sent to me from like back when there were forums. There were college football forums. You guys probably have no idea. This is so old. I'm dating myself. But there was a rumor on the forum that Joe Flacco was leaving Pitt because Tyler Palko was going to win the starting quarterback job, and Joe Flacco was transferring to University of Delaware. So I'm like, I'm not coming here. Back then, I thought I was going to play. So I'm like, I'm not going to transfer into Delaware and sit behind Joe Flacco for 2-3 years. This guy's an NFL prospect. I go to JMU. I'm 3rd string there. I remember going to Delaware to face Delaware, and I'm in warmups. The quarterbacks are on the field first, and I get to see Flacco. He's huge. He's got an arm. It's a cannon. I can hear him like the ball coming out of his hand. And I'm like, this guy's a monster. Degrees of separation. Now, Kenny Pickett is teammates and going to be, competing against Joe Flacco, and I have connections to both of them. And now Shedeur Sanders is in the room with Dylan Gabriel. Those are their 4 quarterbacks. Now, I'll tell you this. Shedeur is going to have to earn it because he could be cut. That's the thing here. They invested nothing on him. They invested a 5th-round pick, 144 overall. He's got to beat Dylan Gabriel out. He's got to beat Kenny Pickett out. He's got to beat Joe Flacco out. And if he does that, right, this is God's plan. If he does that, they're not going to keep him off the field because ultimately they're trying to win. Myles Garrett signed with them, and Myles Garrett was assured that they were going to figure out the quarterback position. Also, Kevin Stefanski. Are you guys familiar with Kevin Stefanski? Kevin Stefanski is a beautiful offensive mind. He's going to get to work with him. This is good. So, man, a round of applause for Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders, for their whole family sticking it through to Saturday after 2 o'clock. And the dream is realized. Now he is in the NFL, and he can win that job. Shout out to Kenny, but like Shedeur is he's probably better than Kenny. When Kenny was coming out, they said he had small hands, right? Right. That was the thing about Kenny. Kenny, that was the knock on Kenny Pickett. Oh, he's got small hands. They were worried about him, being able to hold the football. Joe Flacco is old. He's washed. Dylan Gabriel is not better than Shedeur, in my opinion. So, all right, let me get back to the chat. We'll go backwards. If Sanders wins the starting QB job, he's going to be facing some of the best QB talent in the conference. Of course. I mean, the Steelers have Mason Rudolph, but you've got one of the highest paid quarterbacks in Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks, period, in the league, who has the best receiver in the league. And then you have Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, arguably could have been a 3-time MVP. If not anything else, it puts the Browns in the spotlight for 2025, having the Sanders name representing Cleveland. Yeah, I look at Cleveland as like they had scouted him, they had recruited him, they had probably wanted him, but just not at that high of a price, and fell to them. So it is interesting how it works. Even look, bro, like this is how I know like the racists have come out and the haters have come out. I on Instagram, I'm trying to log into my Instagram right now. I have a tweet that I put out just kind of like bigging them up because like I am a fan of Deion and Shedeur and all of them, and I've followed them so closely. I want to see them succeed, and I know once you get on that field, once you get in between those white lines, like none of this media stuff, none of these haters, none of that matters. Football is football. If you can play, you can play, and God has a plan for Shedeur. So, I kept checking my Instagram earlier, and I have some stuff to do. This is live when he got drafted. Good for them to have that moment and have that joy. He's got the Browns hat on. He's going to Cleveland, Ohio. He's in the league. It's over. Made him sweat it out, but good for him and his family to have that moment of, I got drafted to the NFL. Now, I was being supportive online, and I wrote on a post. Let me go to it. My comment has almost 5,000 likes, and like I have people saying ridiculous things to me where I'm just like, there's so much hate and negativity in this world, and the internet enables so many idiots to have a platform, to have a voice. So many people that aren't shit, like they're literally like, you're nothing. You've done nothing in your life, but you talk so much about somebody else that is richer than you, more successful than you, worked harder than you. So, this is Deion. And like now that I'm a father, man, I cannot wait to help my son in every single way that I can. But let me say that to the camera. When Jackson McPherson is coming up, complete Nepo baby. When Jackson McPherson when you hear that name, when you see that young man coming up, know that I'm behind him in every single thing that he does. I'm already paving the way. That's why the brand is McPherson brand. It's not Keith McPherson, it's McPherson brand. Like I'm doing all of this so that my son, Jackson King McPherson, can take over the kingdom. Anyway, so I can relate to Deion. We're going to show them what they missed out on, trust. And, Shedeur said, we're used to being the underdog. And Shedeur has a contract with overtime as well. So I said, Deion has done everything for his son. And now some have used that against him. These are God-fearing men. You can't stop God's plan. Wait for it. Now, maybe God doesn't have a plan for them to succeed, for Shedeur to make it in the NFL. Everything happens for a reason. The universe never unconnects. He's got a great support system. His brothers, his family, his dad, and now he can just go lock in and worry about football. If I was him, I'd go dark on social media. You did it. You made it to the league. The dream is realized. Go do your thing now. Congrats to Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family. So why did he slide so much? Because we live in this social media time. These phones are powerful, man. So it started to snowball. And you know what, too? Like, there's so many people that, like, shame on these grown-ass men. Shame on these grown-ass men that are just negative haters. Like, Danny Cannell put out a tweet today that, like, people are starting to helicopter in. Let's see, TJ Moe. They used the video of Shedeur talking to the Colorado State quarterback at the end of the game where he doesn't shake his hand. And TJ Moe on Twitter says, how could anyone possibly think Shedeur is fit to lead their team? There was never a single sign, saying that sarcastically. Well, the Colorado State quarterback started that. He went on TV, this kid Fowler Nichols, whatever, and called them out and basically said, oh, well, you can't bring your followers on the field with you, and we'll see how far that gets them. It's a rivalry, Colorado versus Colorado State. Like, people are using things against Shedeur without context. Even Danny Cannell. I remember when this happened in real time, Let me see if I can pull this up. Because Bucky was about to whoop this kid's ass. This is in Lubbock at Texas Tech. I'll send the link to the tweets too. This is Danny Cannell, former NFL quarterback, former college quarterback. His glory days were mostly in the swamps, the Gators. This is in poor taste. This is without context. This shouldn't happen as a guy that's like paid to talk about football. The NFL evaluates everything. How you treat people matters. Man, like, I got to pull up the video. I got to see if I can pull up the video. And what I hate is like I want to you have to have like they should fix this in StreamYard where you can just play a video from a tweet where you don't have to like have the video file. Maybe I could share screen. I got to get well versed in StreamYard because they have updated it. Let's see, share screen. Google Chrome would like to record. Grant access. Let's see. Share. Okay. So now you're seeing this tweet, right? Let me zoom in. And let's go back. So his brother right there, 21, Shiloh Sanders scores a touchdown. And then Bucky is coming in with the camera in the black, right? So he's filming because they vlog everything. I've heard Tiki Barber call them the Kardashians of football. They film every single thing. And yeah, even though they're in an opposing stadium, look at his brother filming. Now look at this kid in a white hat. I'm slowing it down. This kid is a nobody. This is a ball boy. Who knows what this guy is? He's equipment manager. The audacity of you to do what you just did right here, right? Now watch this. Smacks the ball out of Shiloh's hand. Shiloh takes it. They're brothers. Like, hold on. Like, they are brothers. Do you have a brother? Do you have a little brother or an older brother? They are going to protect each other and watch out for each other. So let's play this again in full speed. The NFL evaluates everything. How you treat people matters. Fuck this guy. How you treat people matters. This guy reaches for the ball like that. That's disrespectful. And Bucky was about to sick him. Bucky was on his ass. So, for Danny Cannell to take that and try and make this I said, this is not it. You don't know what happened here. They weren't bullying the ball boy. The ball boy could have tapped him on the shoulder, or is in earshot, could say, "Hey, can I get that ball?" And we don't know. Like that ball, I'm assuming that ball was maybe that ball was the offense's ball because if Shiloh scored, it was maybe a pick six or a fumble return. But either way, don't touch me, bro. And they're always on guard. They're always on guard. They've gone to rival stadiums and been robbed. And like I said, they're brothers, man. I would love to have two older brothers. Rest in peace to my brother Sean, who literally would jump on somebody if they did something to me, would push somebody like Bucky pushed them. They tried to make that like, oh, the NFL is evaluating that. The NFL is not evaluating that. Be better. Be better. I don't think his brother is getting drafted, but I thought that before the draft. Shout out to his brother, Shiloh, a.k.a. Headache Gang. I don't think his brother is getting drafted. And his brother had the joke of the night. He said, damn, if they doing you like this, what they going to do with me? They're not going to draft you at all. And like Dion talked about this dream of having his sons on the same team. The Browns aren't drafting Shiloh. I don't think anyone is. Let's see. But I'm wrapping this up in the next 20 minutes, man. Again, subscribe on YouTube. I'm about to hit 2K on this YouTube channel. Last call for any questions. Anything you guys want me to talk about here? I was going to talk about the Devils. I did a little bit. Just not getting swept. Great. Wish I went to Newark and not the Bronx last night. Simone Nemec, all-timer, call game in double overtime. Hopefully the Devils can rally. And I know there are Devils fans thinking about the 2023 playoffs and how they went down 2-0 and they came back against the Rangers. And like, they have only played progressively better in this series. First game was a wash. Second game, they bounced back. You know, they scored the first goal and it was 2-1 for a while. And then the third period, they just couldn't crack through. Last night, they fought all the way through at home. Tomorrow they'll play. And hopefully the Devils can even up the series. Let's see. He's a Brown. IWD. What is IWD? He's a Brown IWD. I would. That's all that matters now. What matters is what he does from this point forward. Of course. I don't know what IWD is short for. Giants on the clock. That Cam Scattaboo pick by the Giants. What a pick. I cannot wait to watch that kid play. That kid alone is worth going to MetLife for. Marcus Mbao, an offensive guard out of Purdue. Good. 6'4", 300 pounds. Good. Bulk up that offensive line. Dallas Cowboys get Shamar James out of Florida, linebacker. Good. Jaden Blue. Yes. Yes. The Cowboys took Jaden Blue out of Texas at running back. As much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys, I'm always going to be a fan. I'm going to pick another team when my son picks his team. I'm not going to make him be a Dallas fan, but I grew up a Dallas fan, so I'm always rooting for Jerry Jones to age out and fall back and them to figure it out and get right. They're having a decent draft. I'm gonna go sit down and really look through the draft once I get off of here. But again, appreciate everybody, mostly, Twitter people checking in. I just knew I had to do a couple hours live today because I wouldn't be on the air. Coach says, go back to the NIL message. My message about the NIL is we have never seen players come into the NFL with this much power. We've seen them have some cars and some jewelry. And, obviously their agents will break them off. But, we're seeing guys that should go to the NFL go back to school. Carson Beck was projected to be a top 5 quarterback picked. He went back to school and got the bag. And with money comes power. It just is what it is. And with these kids having money like they've never had before, the NFL now is looking at semi-pros. They're not amateurs coming in. And it's hard to tell. You can control somebody when they're completely broke and their dream is being realized and they want those game checks and they're coming in. There's some entitlement now with these players, man. Some of these players, Shedeur Sanders isn't making anything with this contract. Some of these players are making more in college than they're about to make their rookie year in the NFL. How's it going to affect the league? I can't project yet, but like I told you, it's going to be an ego thing. It's going to be a business thing. There's going to be a lot of going back to college. And It's going to affect power. I'm not listening to you, coach. I made more money than you make, assistant coaches, lower level coaches, scouts. And who are you talking to? I got a Lamborghini. I made $4 million last year. Coach, I know you can talk about it. It's changing high school. Hell yeah. When you get a kid like the kid that is going to Michigan who flip-flopped because Tom Brady came in, Dave Portnoy came in and promised him $10 million coming out of high school. I can't imagine the parents. My mom is in here watching. When we were coming up in Middlebrook Apartments and I was getting good at football and I was getting letters sent to my house and getting recruited and we went on recruiting visits, I just was trying to go to school. It was, tuition, room and board, books. There was no money. It wasn't money that was going to be able to help my mom. It wasn't money that was going to be able to change our life situation. Now, when you're coming to recruit a kid and you're coming to that kid's neighborhood, that kid's apartment, it's a business meeting. How much you got? Especially if it's mom and dad, how much you got? How much you want from my son? My son is a 5-star recruit. We got this school offering him 1.5. Can you do 2? Like, that's crazy for 18-year-old kids. For 18-year-old kids. Junkin' Irishman in here. Sanders just got your boy Kenny Pickett cut. Nah, but what I said is they could cut Sanders if he doesn't cut it. They can cut Dylan Gabriel. Kenny's gonna be there because he's an NFL quarterback with experience. Same with Flacco. But now it's like Shedeur dropping all the way down to pick 144 in round 6 or round 5. His contract is nothing. They didn't invest much in him. They don't owe him anything. He's literally got to come in and prove it. Talk about being humbled. Oh, IWD was someone who posted in here that you responded to? Okay. Jared, I'm great, man. So blessed and thankful to have a community of people that follow me, listen to my show, listen to my opinions. And even though I'm not on WFAN, I don't even know how to point to my own WFAN. Even though I'm not on WFAN until Monday, like I have the ability to connect with you guys here. What's up, Keith? When did you start the YouTube? Good to hear KM to AM on the weekend in the PM. So this YouTube channel started as Talking Nets. And when I was working at John Boy Media, I keep thinking I have a hair tie, and I don't. When I was working at John Boy Media, I was given the opportunity or really given the task of starting Talking Nets. And some of you are OGs and have been following me all that time, so you remember. I remember not wanting to do Talking Nets because I didn't feel like the Nets had a strong enough community or a strong enough front office to have sustained winning where we would be able to build. I felt like it was always an uphill battle, but I don't have a hair tie. It's fine. Talking Nets actually grew pretty big. Kevin Durant followed us. The Yes Network did a special on us. And that didn't go with John Boy's business model. John Boy didn't have any basketball. He really didn't have any basketball knowledge or any business plan. But I think he had some advisors that said, hey, you have Talking Yanks, you have Talking Giants, you have Talking Knicks. Katie and Kyrie are on the Brooklyn Nets. You should have a Talking Nets podcast. So myself and Bobby Skinner, who started Talking Giants, started Talking Nets. And this happened before I was even like, I worked at John Boy for free for like 2 months. And then I worked for $15 an hour. And then there's another person, and I'm getting deep in on this, and I really don't like to talk about it. But like there was someone that is no longer involved with the company. I was like, this guy's talented. This guy has a resume. You got to pay him. And so they bumped me up to $60K a year. And I was doing, social media, helping build their social media, but also doing Talking Nets podcast and Pinstripe Pride or Pinstripe Strong podcast with Joe's McFly. The Talking Nets YouTube channel that I created built up enough steam where we got to 1,000 followers, subscribers, and then we got monetized. I left John Boy Media, and I made sure to talk to Jimmy and said, I want the rights to Talking Nets. I built it. You've never been on an episode. You never lifted a finger to help. You never even retweeted us. You never promoted it. It's literally mine. Like, I'm leaving. I want to take it with me to Odyssey. So I brought it with me to Odyssey for a couple years, and some of the archive stuff is there. But essentially, the Nets blew up their team, and Talking Nets was not a profitable endeavor anymore. I wasn't getting enough downloads, wasn't getting enough streams, wasn't making enough money. I also had a kid in 2023 where I didn't have the same amount of like time to run the Twitter, the Instagram, do the podcast, do the show properly. And I'm not going to do something if I can't do it properly. So what I did was shut it down for a while and then relaunched the channel as McPherson Brand, which is my LLC, which is like, man, this is the first year of it, and I'm not sure what it will eventually be, but it feels good to be at a point in my life where people know my name and I have a business and I have an LLC and I am making money off of it and I am doing my own thing, and no one can ever take this away from me. And I appreciate all of you that have watched and subscribed, and that's how we have gotten here. That's the long and short version of it. Mason Rudolph's about to lose his job. Did the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a quarterback? Like, who's even left? Quinn Ewers. What's Buddy out of Syracuse name? I'm blanking on his name now. But yeah, to wrap this up here in the next 9 minutes, just wanted to get back to the chat. Dion's warning to QBs heading to Cleveland. I cannot copy and paste that from StreamYard. Let me go back to the chat because I know when I was muted and I was saying some stuff, there was some stuff. Let's see. Going back. Don't forget Josh Allen, Keith, even if it pains you to say so. What about Josh Allen? If Sanders wins the starting QB job, he's going to face some. Oh, and in the conference, that's why. You're talking about the AFC conference. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes. I was specifically thinking about the AFC North. Let's see. There has always been a segment of white America that has always had an issue with confident black men who have flair. Yeah, because it's a threat to power. It is a threat to, black people are minorities, and through the history of this country, from slavery to free slaves to 40 acres and a mule that never happened, to redlining certain neighborhoods, civil rights, voting, systematic oppression, racism in the workplace. I don't have to be the one to educate you. When now we are in the future, and like I just said, I just started my own business, my own brand. I'm a black man that made something out of nothing. The more black men that rise up and empower other black men, I think it's good for our country, but it poses a threat to insecure white men, whoever they are, not making that a blanket statement, but it's a power struggle. When you're born white in America, you are born into white privilege. Now, you might not financially have money or the benefits of some, but you certainly get the benefit of the doubt most of the time. And like that's not me saying that, that's facts. Like, it is what it is. Happy Saturday. Nice short on King Lindor, bro. Okay, so IWD was who was speaking before. And yes, all respect to Lindor. I didn't watch that Mets game. I was in the stadium last night. I saw that they got walked off and blew it in the ninth, but then the Yankees followed up. So let's see. Are they playing? Are they playing in DC right now? Let me go to the baseball scores today. Or they play tonight. They play at 4:05. So I'll be tuned into that. I'll be tuned into the Knicks tomorrow. If the Knicks win this game tomorrow, it's Knicks in 5. If the Knicks win this game tomorrow, it's over. I think the Pistons fight back though. I think they get this game, and then they don't get another game because I think the Knicks go back to the Garden to win, and then they go back to Detroit and they end it. Because once they're facing elimination, I think they're cooked. Sanders is a Brown. You're right about the diploma and degrees to get ahead. I dropped out of college. And my mom pleaded with me. And a lot of people talked to me. Shout out to my wife. My wife, who was just my girl at the time, she made sure I got to class. She made sure that I turned papers in on time. She made anything that she could help with as far as like, make it. Because I dropped out because I stopped playing football. I didn't want to take out any loans for my last year. So I just was like, yo, screw it. I honestly was like, I'm going to be a DJ, right? My DJ set is right here. I'm like, I'm going to be a DJ. And I also thought I could be a rapper. I also honestly was like, I could rap my ass off. And if I actually had time to work on it, I could make it in music. I don't need a degree. But I'm thankful that I went back. And you know what it was? I transferred from 2 schools. I lost some credits. But then when I was at that point, I was like, man, I'm so close to graduating. I graduated, and I remember taking the max amount of credits I could take from a spring. I took summer courses, and then I took a fall, and then I was out. I think I took 18 credits. So you guys were in real time when Shedeur got drafted. I think this is good. I think we wrap it up here. This is a good one. Curious, in this country, what can't you do that I, as a white person, can? Just be discriminated against. Just the way I look with my hair. People have their own prejudices, and it's not always black and white. A lot of times it's hidden. I have a ton of stories. Like, I lived in an apartment building. I've lived in multiple apartment buildings in Jersey City and Hoboken. They're expensive. And people assume that you don't live there. Just looking at you. You live here? I literally had someone say that to me in the apartment building I lived in. I just ignored her. She was afraid of me. It was late at night. I was actually coming back from the fan. She goes, "Do you live here?" I was one of the first people to move into the building. Do you live here? Never seen you before. So when you ask that question, it's like, and I appreciate the question and the curiosity. It's hard to know when you don't walk into those shoes what being discriminated against feels like. It's hard to know something that you're not like. I don't know what it's like to just like not have to worry about racism, not have to worry about if somebody is treating me a certain kind of way because I'm black. Right? I've had to work on every single thing, every advantage. Even the way that I speak. I can't tell you from the young age of like 5 or 6, you talk white. No one can talk white, but I guess speaking the English language, being grammatically correct, having a command of the one language I speak, if you're articulate and you speak well, you speak white. Well, in my situation, with the way that I look, if I didn't speak well, I wouldn't have a shot. You think they put me on the radio? You think I'd be on WFAN if I spoke hood or I was urban or spoke Ebonics or I was, I spoke gangster? Like, so people watch too many movies. I had to go to school. I had to speak in front of classes. I had to talk to professors. You can't use slang. You can't use broken English. Your voice and your speech is a weapon. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to use my speech to diffuse situations, or and I have a God-given voice that people like. I thank God for it. And shout out to my mom. My mom always was like, you have to speak well. Don't talk like that. Like, make sure, because I walk into a room, and if people don't know me, even now when I have a little bit of status, I can see people's eyes. I can see how people look, clutch their purse, but then as soon as hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Keith McPherson, blah, blah, blah. Start talking. Like, that is a weapon where people are like, once they hear how you speak, they can tell your level of education. They can tell where you're from, your accent, like things like that. Let's see. I just can't see how all these teams are passing, Keith. I understand his cockiness and arrogance. Yeah, that was the machine working, man. Like I said, that memo was sent out against Shedeur and Dion that we don't need you. So, all right, I'm up against 2 hours now. Appreciate you guys. We'll do this again. The home studio is set up, all that. Let's see. Grace said, I once had a job interview. I was 16. I was asked if I had any bills because they wanted to know if I would quit or work hard. Yeah, things like that. Things like that. What do you think is happening behind the scenes? I think what was happening behind the scenes was these draft rooms, they're weighing now. They're like, this has become a circus. If we draft Shedeur, we bring in a media circus. Is it worth it? It's worth it for the Cleveland Browns. It's worth it for the Cleveland Browns. But for the Steelers, no. For the Giants, no. For the Saints, no. 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 All right, I'm out, man. Again, appreciate everybody, whether you're a Twitter follower and you came in through the Twitter live that I do. I prefer people to go to Twitch or YouTube. The Twitch is not that big yet. One day I hope it will be. The YouTube channel is monetized, and I am making money off of it. People can throw super chats, and every video I put out makes some money off of Google AdSense. So I'd rather you be there and you subscribe. But yeah, I'll be back on the Fan Monday night. We'll be live on here again. Jared, do you live here? Like, you know how offensive that is, bro? You know how offensive that is? Someone to be afraid of you because it's 3 a.m. and I just drove back from WFAN and I run into a woman in the hallway. Like, I remember I told my wife the next day, I'm like, this lady that lives down the hall, the lady that moved in down the hall, like, I scared her. Do you live here? Yeah, I live here, bitch. I was one of the first people that moved in. I got the biggest apartment. I got the 3-bedroom apartment right down here next to the roof entrance. Like, I was here before you. But because I'm black and you watch too many movies and you have a little bit of racism and prejudice in you, your first thought is, I'm trespassing. It's unfortunate. But, you know, not everybody is like that. Not everybody's like that. Keith, you're all right in my book. Keep doing what you do and always be who you are. That's what got me here. Dalton, appreciate you, bro. We got to connect soon. I know I said I was going to send you an email. We were going to connect on some dates to talk. But, you know, we'll do that. Again, everybody be good, man. I'm glad the Shedeur Sanders stuff is over. Let's go Devils. Hopefully the Knicks get a win tomorrow as well. And, yeah, Devin Williams sucks. And, yes, Kyle McCord was who I couldn't think of. Coach was on it. Ben was on it. Devin Williams sucks, but the Yankees aren't playing today, so we get a break from that. And maybe they deploy him like they did with Clay Holmes. Take him out of the closer role, put him in some higher leverage situations in the 7th or 8th, or maybe whatever. They got to get him right. He's got to get his pitch mix right. He's got to get his sequencing right. He's got to throw strikes. He throws a fastball changeup. And when he throws that fastball effectively, that changeup, the airbender, is unhittable. So hopefully we get there. Again, that's it. 2-hour live. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon. McPhersonbrand.com and all that. Check out the merch. We're working on, obviously, these shirts. But I feel like nobody is going to want to wear this until the brand is big enough. But, like, if you have an M and you're a tourist, maybe you like it. But KM to AM shirts on there. Let me see. Like, just a show T-shirt, KM to AM. And just go take a look. There's a few different shirts out there. Embrace the Martian. That shirt's on there now. And we're working on a shirt for the ABS system because the umpires in Major League Baseball are terrible. But yeah. This has been KM in the PM. We'll do this again soon. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'm out.